I went through the video of Abba and Preach talking about the Tory Lanez case, and I gotta tell you, those two guys, man, especially Abba, that dude is a fucking moron, bro. Real talk. Let's look at something real quick. Megan Thee Stallion's bodyguard speaks out. All right. I want to show you guys a video. Let's see. Let me see if I can find the video real quick. So this is a article, and this article you can see that her bodyguard did not come to court. He didn't show up to court. And in that video that Abba and Preach made, they kept talking about Tory's bodyguard not showing up to court. Now, well, newsflash, right? This guy said he did research. When the state accuses you of a crime, guess whose job it is to prove that you committed the crime? Guess whose job it is to actually present overwhelming evidence? The state. So if his lawyer, even though I think in hindsight it was a big mistake, didn't bring Jaquan on the stand, it's because he felt that there was enough to cause reasonable doubt for them to doubt the fact or the alleged fact of Tory committing the shooting. Nobody talks about the fact that Megan Thee Stallion's bodyguard refused to show up. And you can read this article. It's out there. I'm trying to look up for the video because there's a video of Megan Thee Stallion's bodyguard, his family, asking Megan not to harass him anymore. So you are out here, like, you could go and find that yourself, right? If I end up finding it, I will present it, right? But let's go to the 36 hours later. So 36 hours later. All right. Let me see if I can find it. 36hourslater.com. You are out here just like that dude. I don't know how much they paid that boy, but Abba, man, I knew he was a weirdo after the Fresh and Fit shit. I'm not a Fresh and Fit fan, but you knew. Let me see surveillance. Let me see if it, I don't. I think this is the wrong page. Tory Lanez. If you know the content they make, and then you don't, like, I don't know, like, you know the content these dudes make, right? And you go on their channel, and then you go and talk to these people and make content with them, knowing the stuff that they talk about, knowing the type of men that they are. And then afterwards, when it doesn't go your way, probably because you probably received backlash and you didn't want to be associated with perceived misogyny or whatever, then you start making a series of videos attacking the guys that welcomed you onto their platform. Like, to me, that shows that you're just a sick individual, and you're just a scumbag. And that dude has continuously done stuff like that, and I had to unfollow that guy. But with this thing, I thought I'd just, reply a little bit. I can't even find the fucking website no more. What happened? All right, let me. And you got two YouTubers, right, saying that, okay, the state says that the bullet fragment. Why would the legal team of Tory Lanez say that the bullet fragments are not there, are not available? And a senator also backed that up, putting her own career on the line. You think that her and the people backing her would say something like that, and lawyers would say something like that, and you, a YouTuber that did biased research, would say something, and you're more believable than the senator and the lawyers who actually put that into the appeal. Okay, all right, man. That guy, I don't know, man. It's nefarious. I think him and Fantano are two of the most nefarious types of individuals. And it's obvious, man, like, if you believe that Kelsey got paid by Tory, I believe y'all got paid by Rock Nation. That's what I believe. So you can go through the evidence and we can look through it. But let's talk about common sense for a little bit, right? So there are two stories that are out there when it comes to the Tory Lanez thing, right? One story is Tory Lanez, Meg Thee Stallion, and Kelsey leave a party. They get into some kind of argument, and Meg Thee Stallion insults Tory's height in his career. He pulls out a weapon, brandishes it, and says, "Dance, bitch," shoots her, and that's all well and done. And to be honest, if that story was that simple, there wouldn't be any questions, because there would be a mountain of evidence to prove that that happened the same way. And also, if the witnesses that we have witnessed that happening, we would have had a witness that would have just said, yeah, the guy was out the car, he was crazy, and he just started shooting her for no reason. And it would be open and shut. There wouldn't even be questions. There wouldn't be you having to do research and then, but for some reason, I don't know if you love sucking off Dax or what it is that makes you want to go and attack another man like that. I really don't know. But that dude, like I said, the dude's a weirdo, right? Let's look at just the timeline of events. For one, I always knew that this alone contradicts some of her claims. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the other story, man. When you're recording live, sometimes you forget shit. Let me address that, right? You don't believe that it's plausible that, right? Let's look at everything. EJ says that he saw a gun-shaped object in the bags. Only two people could have been aware of that, and that's Meg and Kelsey, right? And I think he also testified, don't quote me, but I think he also testified that Kelsey was known for carrying a weapon, if I'm not mistaken. And they're both from Texas, for whatever that means. All right? Tory was sleeping with both of them, initially with Kelsey and with Meg. And it was also mentioned in court that Meg had slept with some of the previous men that she had been interested in, which she did not like. We know this because she's talked about it in a live video and made a song about it in the Bus and Back video, right? You have that. Then you have them in the car. The same vehicle that Meg says, let's watch it for yourself. What did Meg say? Okay, oh, the video is not even there anymore. Rock Nation. Rock Nation. Okay. Alright, the video isn't there anymore. But whatever. Right? She said she never put her hands on anybody. Okay? She says she never put her hands on anyone. The fact that that video popped up and then it wasn't there, and y'all saw it, so I ain't even got to say nothing. Right? They took the video down. Alright, bet. What was I saying? So you have her in the car. There's an argument. She said she never hit anybody, never put her hands up, but we know that's not true. There's physical evidence showing that she and Kelsey fought each other. You can see it in this document right here. Let me see if I can pull it up right now. Let me scroll to... I'm going to address this soon. This is the second thing I'm going to talk about, but let's look at the physical evidence of them fighting. There we go. Now, if you zoom in right here, what does that look like? That's Kelsey, right? That's also a knot on her head. This homie has no fucking visible marks to substantiate any of Kelsey's claims, which she has admitted herself are not to be trusted because she said she lied. She wasn't truthful. There's a pendant, and then and then you have the lyrics from Meg's song "Shot Fired," which doesn't make sense to me. If that did not make sense to me, but anyway, you have the pendant on the ground. There was also something they didn't show in this. There was fingernails that they found that they seen at the crime. You could go look that up like Abba did. And yeah. There were fingernails that were broken. All right, bet. A fight ensues between the two because she did not like that, admittedly. EJ already put the gun in her bag, right? If we believe his testimony. And you know who puts the gun in her hand? The same Sean Kelly. Y'all believe Sean Kelly when he says that Tory shot 4 or 5 times, but you don't believe him when he said that he saw a female shoot the first shot. All right, and this is the same thing. I'm gonna ask you the same question. All right, if you're watching this video, I'll ask you the same question that what's it called? I'll ask you the same question that I asked the Megan Thee Stallion fan. And the question that I asked was this. Okay? Listen to this. Listen to the question. The audio of the gunshots is out there. It's in the public domain. Anybody can look it up. And it's pop, 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 pause, pop, pop. Right? If consistently you want to believe you want to believe Sean Kelly, let's believe all of what he said. If he saw a female shoot the first shots consistently, and even on the scene of the crime, what time did Tory have to take the gun from her and shoot afterwards? And there were 4 shell casings found at the scene of the crime, none in the car. All right, let your brain work, okay? Just let your brain work. Don't be biased. Don't be biased. Just use your brain. Don't do the 32 hours of research that Abba used. Use your actual brain. What time do you think that Tory Lanez would have had to shoot the weapon? This is not about being a fan of the man. This is about using your brain. Right? I can admit that Tory Lanez is a moron. I love his music. He's a moron, though. And he's a moron for so many reasons I'll talk about later on. For even defending these 2 women to fighting against Alcina during a time where you're on trial or about to be on trial and you're fighting somebody. He's a fucking idiot. Running down on Dax. He's a fucking idiot for that. And I can admit that. But people can't admit that this case shows that there's some issues. Let's not even talk about the fact that Desiree Perez has whatever she's got going on. Let's not even talk about that. For me, what convinced me was the actual transcripts and reading it. Not like Abba did, but just reading it with the brain. Come on. Okay? In Abba's video, he never even addresses the fact that these 2 women are fought. You tell me that the EJ, who is the hairstylist for Meg Thee Stallion, says he saw a gun-shaped object in the bag, and the 2 women fought. How would Tory even know where to take a gun from? What's it called? You know what? Go read the transcripts. If I'm lying, you come back and tell me I'm lying. In the court transcripts, the same one that Abba said he read, right? Or did his research on. The same doctor he said that testified that they saw they removed metallic fragments, which that's what they said, metallic fragments. If I'm wrong, correct me, I might be wrong. But they took metallic fragments out. That doctor said, 1, she did not have nerve damage. The wounds were superficial. And I would like to add that the doctor also said, right? Wait, that wasn't even the doctor. Sorry, it's the GSR expert. The GSR expert that Abba was referring to. Sorry. The GSR expert said that if he had shot it 5 times, his DNA would definitively be on there. So let's stop it. Let's stop being stupid, bro. Let's use our brain and think a little bit. It's not. If you think that he shot her, right? Up until a while ago, I would have said, I understand why you think that. But then when you substantiate it and try and make it seem like you're smarter than everybody else, by saying what else could he have apologized for on the jail phone call. For all the men who've actually slept with women, right? And men who understand context. Have you called a woman up knowing that you might have done something that would have created a problem for that woman, and she might not be inclined to even pick your phone call, and she luckily does, right? And you need to be helped out in any kind of way. What do you do first in order to make sure that she might be willing to cooperate? You apologize. The context of the phone call that everybody ignores is that he called her to bail her out. If you were in English class, Abba would have not passed. Not because he doesn't speak good English, but he forgot the reason for the call is already mentioned in the phone call. He called her so that she would get his bodyguard to bail her out. That's the reason for the phone call. It's not to apologize. That phone call was not to apologize. Listen to the phone call in the end. Could you get Quan to bail me out? Could you get a hold of Quan? Because I can't get a hold of him to bail me out. And you add the context of being a man and knowing what men do. You created a situation that was volatile in which it ended up in the girl that in the videos that he also ignored. He called his girlfriend. That bit of context is very important. He kept calling her his girl and his girlfriend. And he was worried about his girlfriend. Right? That alone doesn't mean he didn't shoot her or anything. I'm just saying it's important to know that of what he thought of her and what she thought of him. Right? And he's saying that, he's calling the friend of the girl who he outed to bail him out. And you keep saying, why would you call the person that shot the person? Well, you also have to ask this a simple question. Why would the person that saw their friend get shot by this guy, and you also in the video talked about how she went to the hospital or whatever. You went to the hospital to see how she was doing, but you didn't say, hey, on the phone, like, hey, you shot my friend, don't call me again. And not only did you pick up the phone and were calling with Tory Lanez on the phone, you also agreed to bail him out of jail. So you were able to say, hey, he had to call because he shot her. Right? He had to call. He shot her. That's why he called her. And if you don't think so, you're stupid. Like, bro, you're a fucking moron, bro. Get out of here. Like, bro, that video infuriated me. And it's not like people will make it seem like you're the biggest Tory Lanez fan in the world if you find that is distasteful for a man to possibly, right? Let's say possibly, because in as much as a belief is innocence, you never know, right? But let's say, like, a lot of the evidence proves that he probably didn't do this. I never believed he did it from when I started seeing excerpts. I didn't know before, but I'm pretty sure he didn't do it now. Like, I'm 97% sure, right? I'm almost damn near 100. But you're so sure that that phone call is about a shooting, but you're not sure that it could have been, even though there's context. You have a girlfriend or a friend that you call your girl, right? Somebody that you're in love with, and you've professed your love in music and shit, and say you were in love with her, who is at the top of her career. She's gonna do great things, and she's in jail. She's worried about her image and all that. You understand what I'm saying? You're telling me that you believe that he shot her, right? Because of that call. But you don't think that the fact that he was cheating on her, the fact that he ruined the friendship between these two women could have been the possible reason. And then you come and say you're not biased. That's the thing that pissed me off, bro. Is that he came out and said he was not biased. That's when I'm like, bro, you're a fucking moron. Get out of here, bro. Because you got to be more responsible. When a man is dealing with certain shit and the evidence is not clear either way, and you have a huge platform of a million subscribers plus, and that man is trying his best to get out of you should not be saying, hey, that guy deserves to. Because even if you believe the story, right, This is a situation in which it's not clear. Like, they don't have. If they had evidence that he clearly wanted to shoot her and to harm her, they would have charged him with attempted murder first and foremost, right? But what they charged him with, if you go and do your research, none of the things they charged him with, you don't have to actually be in possession of the gun. And let me also tell you this. This is the reason why I think Tory Lanez got charged. There's a lot of competing ideologies out there, but I think one of the major reasons why he got charged is you have these young black people in a neighborhood, high property value, probably predominantly white, and these are rich people, and you go and cause a ruckus there. Those people are not going to sit by and allow that to go unchecked. The police are going to try and find somebody who has to be liable for whatever happened over there, right? These are probably dudes that donate to whatever political party and they're tied in with probably the governor's office or somebody in government. Somebody has to pay for that. So what I think happened is they go to Meg's team and Meg's team was like, yo, like, this is actually a problem. This could actually affect her career. And Meg doesn't really maybe remember what happened. Or she's kind of like on the details. And Des is like, yo, just say Tory did it. And I mean, it's a win-win. You stay out of jail, and then at the same time, we could use this to boost your career. And she's maybe like, I don't know, I'm not too sure, but she convinces her. But then, she probably tells Kelsey, hey, this is what we're going with. You got to be on board. And Kelsey's like, well, that's not what happened. So I can't be on board with this. So then if you follow the events, I'm sure that this is probably what happened. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure, I have a feeling that originally the charges, like, probably wouldn't, they would have been, like, less, they wouldn't have been in Tory's favor regardless, but it wouldn't have been, like, 10 years, right? But he's like, yo, I didn't do this, and, what's it called? I could get deported. Like, I can't have this on my record, and he's not, cooperating. Then his social media antics make them respond in kind. So it becomes this whole big whirlwind of he said, she said, and then now we're here. Because if you look at the evidence, it's easy to say that, like, bro probably didn't even touch the gun. There's just too much that says it's Kelsey. You have her, according to, if you believe Megan's story, she's saying his motive is that she insulted him and his career, and he shot her. But with Kelsey, one, EJ puts the gun in your bag. The bodyguard that took you around says that he's heard you say that you did it, which is why you got immunity. Jaquan puts the gun in your hand. And also Sean Kelly, that everybody wants to believe is the person who we should trust, says that you shot first. And also you did fight with Meg. And one thing that a lot of people don't mention, when she got, one of the ladies, I can't remember who it is, but when it got to the police office, they said I was in an argument with my friend. The lady said that. And that is on record. You can look that up if you don't believe me. But you can look that up. That's what it's... And what's it called? The initial report that was reported by I think it was the LA Times, I think, said that there were gunshots fired in the air, which also aligns with what's it called? The new affidavit says, right? It's easy to piece things together and say, yeah, this is probably what happened. That she fired in the air to probably stop Meg from attacking her. And Tory tried to get the gun out of her hand because he's, Tory. Dude just does not have no fucking street smarts, my guy, at all. But anyway, so Tory tries to get the gun out of her hand. Like, hey, what the fuck you doing? You understand what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that action alone did not hurt Meg. It could have hurt Meg. You understand what I'm saying? And to be honest, he would be better off had said that, yo, he hit the gun down and he's not sure if that's what hurt her. But Maybe that's not what happened, and he really knows. But the fact that all of them were drunk, I don't know if any of them really know. You get what I'm saying? Now, here's another thing we need to talk about, right? Mr. Man did his research. Let's scroll down. I want to talk about this one thing. Now, if you look at, I think that's Exhibit 20 and 21. Let's just say Exhibit 20 and 21. I don't know if that's what they really are. This alone tells me everything I know. So on the left, you have what was entered into court, right? And what you have on the right is what was released to the press for them to release to you. That alone should tell you everything. This alone should be enough. There's so many things that should be enough. But the fanfare and also payments or whatever it is making people say the dumbest shit. If what Meg Thee Stallion story is saying is true, if it's true without a shadow of a doubt, there would have been there's no need to have doctored this text message, first and foremost. But the fact that it's doctored alone, the fact that this text message is doctored alone, actually makes me wonder if the original one was real at all. And here's another reason why I say that. Because I showed you in the beginning, her bodyguard, the same bodyguard who you can go and look up, his father said that Meg's team should stop harassing his son and their family because the guy did not show up to court. He was the one who was texted, and he didn't show up to court, okay? And then you have the text message that you said was sent. And in it, let's zoom in. Help Tory shot Meg 911. And what they released to the press. Help Tory shot Meg and handled me 911. Are we can we be serious? That alone, why would you doctor this? If this was enough for the jury, are you afraid that this wouldn't be enough for the public? That alone, if you did your research, why did you skip over that, Abba? And here's my thing. To me, this case has never been about Tory Lanez. Here's the thing, right? You should not be comfortable with people sending a person to jail on bad evidence because it can happen to you. Let me reiterate that for Abba and the rest of the retards. You should not be happy that somebody's in jail on shoddy evidence because it can happen to you. Because here's something that happens when somebody goes to jail. Legal precedence. So when you have a whole bunch of circumstantial evidence and people are allowed to put this into evidence, which is a screenshot. The screenshot was sent to somebody. The person never corroborated whether they accepted, whether they received this message, verified whether it was true that they got this message. I heard nothing in the court case to substantiate whether a telecommunication company was contacted to verify this, the authenticity of this message. We don't know. We just accept that it was sent. I don't know. Maybe there are things about it that I don't know. Maybe I should do like Abba says and do more research. But the person who was sent the message did not show up to court. Okay? This is what was sent into evidence. This is the defense copy of what was sent into evidence. Why would you alter it? For what reason? Why would you need to alter it if it's true? This is one of the smoking guns, right? If that doesn't tell you what you need to... I don't understand how we're having this conversation. You have 2 sworn affidavits. You have the person who you believe so much did Tory dirty, put the gun in Kelsey's hand initially. You have a fight between the 2 women. You have the own woman's bodyguard come out and say that he heard her say this. You have her taking an immunity deal and pleading the 5th and saying that her statements were not totally true. And she said on the stand she's doing that to protect herself. From what? The person who's on trial is Tory. In the court of public opinion, you are not even being killed like that. It was Tory. There was like maybe one or two people saying that maybe you did it. There would have been no reason. And to be honest, I don't understand how this is still a debate, how this is a talking point by anybody. And here's another thing that Mr. Research failed to mention. You didn't mention the fact that this is something you can go and look up, Mr. Research, that during the court case, the defense said that the gun belonged to Kelsey, and the prosecution never objected to it. You can go and look that up. If you don't believe me, look it up. Apart from that, you know what else the prosecution said? The prosecution said that, I don't know if it was Alex Bott or if it was Shapiro who said it. So I'm not too sure if it was the prosecution. Let me just verify that, right? But one of them said, right, that it's not relevant. Like, I'm paraphrasing. It's not relevant if Kelsey is the one who shot the gun or not, because she's not on trial. So if you really believe that Tory Lanez was the one who shot the gun, then I think that you would never make those two statements. Or I don't think you would make that statement or not object to the defense saying Kelsey owned the weapon. Okay? That's one thing. And I'm going to end the video here because I'm just talking in circles at this point. I'm going to end the video here just by saying this, right? You have all of this stuff and, like, we're still debating and saying things and saying that, oh, the phone call, he never admitted to anything. And I think that if you use that phone call, you're sick. Because I would never, I would never support my enemy going to jail because a phone call that they didn't admit to doing anything was used as a scapegoat for them getting 10 years. 10 years, wishing 10 years on a human being in prison where that person has been stabbed and saying you just don't care. I think that shows the type of person, that shows your integrity as a human being. To me, how you respond to that shows your integrity as a human being. If you can't admit that that's fucked up, then I really don't think that as a human being, like, you shouldn't be talking on people's cases at all, in my opinion. And I think that if you ever get accused of anything, everybody should be front line to wish you the same. You understand what I'm saying? I wouldn't wish it on anybody who hasn't wished it on anyone. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you should not be happy that the man got 10 years, regardless, whether you think he did it or not. But I will say this, you should be content if you think he did it, that she got justice. And if you really believe in her story, you shouldn't be fighting against the man getting an appeal. Because the appeal process is part of the justice system. And if you believe in the justice system the first time, then you should believe in the justice system now. That if you really believe that he didn't do it, then fine, who gives a fuck if he gets an appeal or not? Because then the evidence will show that he did it, right? Like, you should be content with that. But unfortunately, that's not what y'all position is. You have Anthony Fantano saying that he should not be released from prison, despite the fact the man has been stabbed 14 times. You have Anthony Fantano reacting to videos, not videos, but to music of people who have been accused of far more heinous crimes than this man has ever been accused of, and not making those videos. You have Sean C doing the same thing. So what is it? Is it like, do you really believe that he's a vile person? Or is he just like a scapegoat for whatever weird thing you got going on? Right? You can't be serious. You had ASAP Rocky on camera shooting somebody and firing a weapon. And in fact, the situation was similar to Tory Lanez. Not 100%, but very similar. Where that person got on stand and pointed the finger. And I remember Vlad TV saying, hey, if the person is on stand pointing the finger, you're going to jail. That guy didn't see jail time. And it just shows you that, okay, there's more to this. You can't it's not a black and white situation. Now, if there's a definitive thing like that comes out and then for me, there's nothing definitive that shows that he did it. All you have is GSR. You have a phone call that is very vague, and you have statements from people who are not credible. And to be honest, if you believe in justice, that shouldn't be enough for you to be happy that he's in jail. Now, if you say you're indifferent and you believe he did it and you're indifferent, cool. But if you're rejoicing on that, that's bad because, like, bro, your brother, your cousin, somebody in your life could actually go through the same situation, whether they did it or not, go to jail. And that shouldn't be what we advocate for. So I'm baffled as to why that is even up for debate. But it's just weird to me. This whole case has been weird. It's about gender, which is why I go back to Abba and preach, man. I'm like, it's about pandering to a certain audience at this point. It's not really about being unbiased. That's why he flipped on Fresh and Fit, because Fresh and Fit, you knew who these guys were before you went up there. And you still went up there, right? You knew who these guys were. You were aware of their content. If you were not aware of their content, then that is super, super horrible on your end. But I'm very sure you were aware of the content. You saw what the content was like while you were there. When the guy did the whole cap thing, I remember you putting on the cap. Because I watched those videos. And I'm like, bro. Then all of a sudden you're attacking these guys. Then I realized, okay, this guy. Come on, man. Who does that? Who really does that? That told me everything I need to know. You understand what I'm saying? And I used to be an avid follower of the guy. You know, I used to think that he was a level-headed individual. Because as a young man, you want to look up to somebody as a role model, and as a young man, you want to have somebody that, somebody you just look up to, right? That you think is level-headed, stoic, and all that. He's not it. He's just like the rest of them. He's like everybody else. That should also serve as a lesson to all young guys. This whole situation, if there's anything to take away from this situation, is that, bro, if you're a young guy sleeping with multiple women and then trying to live by street codes, it's not worth it. That's what this should tell anybody. If there's anything you take away from this, that's the thing you should take away. Because you have this person who continuously lies, and people believe her or whatever she says, and the evidence does not support what she says. Even the eyewitness that you believe, that if you believe the eyewitness, you don't believe her. That's the whole thing. Y'all made this about believing women. But if you believe the eyewitness, you don't believe her, because the eyewitness contradicts what she said. What she says, what's it called? If you watch these videos, right? And you're still going with, oh, she lied to protect him, then you're an idiot, because in the video she said clearly, I can have that on my image. Right? She never addresses him as her boyfriend in these videos, but he calls her his girlfriend. So the protection thing does not add up. It doesn't add up in this scenario. Also, if you look at the timeline of events, right? I know I said I was done, but let me just get one off. Pause. The timeline of events don't support that, because according to this, 4 days later, you came out and you went to the detective and said that that's what happened. So you didn't lie to protect him. You said that to the public so that the public would believe that. So you'd get Abba to believe you. You understand? Mr. Research to believe you. And you could tell that he didn't even read whatever is in here. He didn't read it. He didn't watch the videos. He had his mind made up and he wanted to make a video, or maybe he was paid off. If you believe Tory was paid off, then you probably were paid off, right? And you didn't read through any of this shit. And if you believe the bribe thing, why did Megan's team pay for Kelsey's rent for a year? If Tory's the one who bribed her, like, what are we talking about? You understand what I'm saying? If you read the DNA and all that stuff, I think we can come. And what's it called? 3 conflicting reports and all that. However you take that one, I don't know. That one's a little bit up in the air, to be honest. But it's still something that is worth looking at. I mean, so like also the phone call. Like I always say, that phone call, if you interpret that as his guilt, then you're a fucking moron. That should not even be something that should be in court. The text message. That's why I always say that this evidence is very weak. And his lawyer was trashed. Because you have a text message that can't be corroborated by the person who was sent to. And also, I said this again. It is very alarming. And the fact that people do not bring this up enough. The fact that they edited the text message makes me wonder if the original. I want to see what evidence substantiates the original. That's what I want to see. Maybe there is. I'll do my own research, as in the words of Abba. But like that alone is very disturbing. And you know what's it called? How she moved even afterwards. The thing is, there's a different. Here's the thing, right? Also, there's a difference between the way the media interpreted everything and the way it was said, and then the actual charges and the actual case. She made it seem like she was really shot. She was hit by some kind of debris or shrapnel. It seems like, allegedly, right? So that's all up in. If you want me to actually like go through and then we break it down, then you let me know. But I just decided to make this video in response to that clown Abba, because I thought what he did was some clown shit. I thought the video was clown shit. And you have people in the comments saying, hey, yeah, because of this video, I'm changing my mind. And you can tell that that's probably why that video was made. And it makes me believe that they were paid to make that video. So, yeah, that's where I end with that. If you like this video, like and subscribe. If you want to see more, let me know in the comments and let's chop it up. And yeah, that's it.